What do you think is like similar to Kobe?
Was at least with the Syrian Babylonian Empire, right? What you read about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Verse 2.
Make sure everything's good. Make sure everything's good. All right, hey, shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. All right, hey, shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four winds of the earth that believe wholeheartedly in the true doctrine that is being pushed throughout the four winds of the earth for our hope of mercy and salvation during the time of Jacob's trouble, as well as when Yahweh Shai returns to the planet Earth. Right, to you and to you only, I say shalom. And may Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai continue to rain down grace and mercy upon you and your household. This is going to be kind of a, in the news type video. I got some articles from the People's Voice that I just want to go into, concerning the times. You know what I'm saying? Get something up on wax, through the spirit. And Lord will, it's edifying, exhorting, and informative to the hopeful elect out there, to continue to encourage us, to continue to stay in the spirit, understand the times that we're living in, and to walk circumspect out here of, everything that's going on. I was listening to the elders in Dallas before I cut this on, man. It's a whole lot going on in the spirit, man. A whole lot going on, and it's just gonna continue to get, down to the nitty gritty, and by us, taking hold of what Yahweh Shai has opened us up to and given us, which is his understanding, his word. This is what's going to keep us, when everybody else is out here bugging out and tripping. Because trust and believe me, we ain't seen nothing yet. Everything that's happening is just these are the very beginning stages of real bad and the worst to come, especially for 2/3 of our people, and just people in general, because you will hear the apostles say, and we say it also because it's indeed true. Jacob's trouble is Esau, Edom's trouble in the planet Earth. It's everybody's trouble. Once it, really kicks off and, there's anarchy and lawlessness, it's going to be bad for everybody, not just the Israelites, and, this is where we're itching towards. We're etching towards things going all the way left. But our hope is to stay right with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, so that we can be justified and receive salvation. Before I get in these articles, let me bring that up here in the Apocrypha. All right. In the book of Sirach, where it says, defer not to be justified. Right? So, because that's what it's all about, man. endurance, not changing up. And there we go. Sirach 18 and 22. It says, let nothing hinder you or hinder thee to pay thy vow in due time. And when we decided to believe this truth, especially us who have taken hold of the plow, right? That was your vow to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. I don't know if they even told you, right? But by you taking hold to this truth and especially putting your hand to the plow, doing the work, as well as you believers who believe it, all right? You were given this opportunity. The Lord opened your mind up to believe, right? This is your vow, and you have to pay your vow to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. You can't renege on it, You can't renege on your vow. You got to pay your vow to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. Matter of fact, when you go to let me see if I can find that real quick. Tells you that, you got to pay your vow to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Bear with me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Yep, here it is. Let me get to you. We go back to that in a second. Numbers 30 and 2. All right. It says, if a man vow unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, or swear an oath to bind his soul with the bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeded out of his mouth. So when you took hold of this truth and you believed it, all right, that was you. That was you taking a vow to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And I'm thinking of all them Israelites, the spirit be on the elder Menachem Zakba. He be coming across those videos on TikTok of all those Israelites. And I'm no longer well, guess what? Women too. Matter of fact, I think the next verse was speaking about women. Right? Yeah, there's another verse. Women, when you took on this truth as well, that was your vow too. Right? So you're supposed to hold and keep your vow. But like I said, the elder Menachem Zakba, he be coming across all those videos of Israelites talking about they no longer Israelites. These camps. I'm not, well, guess what? You broke your vow to the Lord. And that's detrimental to your health, all right, to your soul. So you're gonna have to be born again as a newborn baby in the kingdom, all right, because you didn't endure hardness, as the scripture. Hey, Shalom, bro. Hey, I'm live right now. Meet you back. All right, Shalom. Make sure I'm still on. Yeah, we still good. So all them Israelites that have abandoned their vow and believing Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, they're gonna have to eat that. All right. They've changed up and they're gonna have to die and they won't be justified. So going back here to Sirach 18 and 22, it says, let nothing hinder thee to pay thy vow in due time, and defer not All right. Defer meaning change, right? And you got a lot of that amongst the children of Israel. All right. And defer not until death to be justified. All right. And that's what we are all, well, that should be your goal and your hope, that Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai justify you, right? And that you receive salvation. Okay, that's what this is all about. You know, what we're involved in, making it, man. You know, we here to make it. You know, we do the shows, we do what we do, all right, to make it, to be delivered. Okay. I want to die here with these niggas, man. You know, and Esau. Fuck that. All right, so let's get these articles. These ain't in no particular order, you know. I don't know how long the Spirit's gonna have me streaming, but let's get to it. We'll get to the first one here. As you can see, this is the people's voice, and I have about 4 of them. You know, I just want to go into and you know, relate these things to what the Bible is saying. Price of gold breaks new record. It said the moment gold investors were anticipating finally arrived this week as its price hit an all-time high of 5,600. That is crazy. That is insane right there, man. I ain't, since I've been in this knowledge, I remember gold was $1,000, man. A little ounce. You know what I'm saying? It's shit. That's damn near 10 racks. Let's have 10 racks. 5,600 for an ounce of gold. That shows you that the American dollar is through. Only thing keeping this money propped up is the petrol, the oil, right? And this is why Nero 47, you know, went in and pulled that jack move off in Venezuela, right? But it don't matter because eventually the dollar will totally collapse, all right? And it's going to take a lot more dollars to get real money, which is this gold here, because gold is real money. Silver is real money, right? I believe silver is over $100 or something like that, you know. It says 5,600 amid escalating geopolitical tensions and mounting economic uncertainties. And that's what's happening. The economic uncertainty is in the air, right? And that's the book of Zephaniah 1, right? A lot of these economists see like, man, this shit, this bubble that they've created is getting ready to bust. So let's read a little bit. It says the surge of the precious metal comes as recent flashpoints from Greenland and Venezuela up to the Middle East underscore higher geopolitical risks, reinforcing gold's appeal as a hedge against uncertainty, right? Because they say gold is going to, you know, that's going to be your safety net. Not when all hell breaks loose. The scriptures tell you that, right? Your gold and silver, you know what I'm saying, ain't going to be able to deliver you, all right? It says RT reports gold futures continue their strong rally with the February 2026 COMEX contract surging to a record high of 5,600 per troy ounce on Thursday morning before retreating to around 5,500, according to exchange data. It says silver futures also extended their rally with the March 2026 COMEX contract climbing above about $119 per troy ounce before easing back slightly. Right. So we see, like this article is saying, the economic uncertainties that's ahead. All right. And you got these people that have money, $5,500 ain't shit to, they buying it up, right? They buying up that gold because they truly believe that's gonna be a safety net. It won't be a safety net. As a matter of fact, let's pull in some scriptures. Right. Let me do this. Many scriptures. That's the one I was gonna pull. I was saying that yep. Let's get first one. We're gonna go to Ezekiel 7. Let's get that. Okay. What we have is the gold that we have is far more precious, all right, than this physical gold. All right. Wisdom is more precious than physical gold and rubies, right? Ezekiel 7 and 19. It says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. That's it's like their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. See that? So when the Lord truly pour out his wrath, gold and silver ain't gonna matter. Right? It ain't gonna matter. Now it may, when hyperinflation totally kicks in, it may, do some good if you have it on hand, if you have it physically. If places only are taking cash, and then you need more cash to get items, yeah, it'll work that way. But once the rioting and the looting, the unaliving and the fighting over bread inside stores and things that happens, it ain't gonna matter, right? It ain't gonna matter in that time. Okay. It says they shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. And that's what's getting ready to happen. All our people who have, chased the bag and went after, monetary gain, and not after you, how about Shemal Rashad, that's going to be the stumbling block of their era. Let's read this here, Zephaniah 1 and 11. All right, because this is your economic uncertainty biblically in the scriptures. Because when you understand what MacTest was like your money exchange in the ancient world, or your Wall Street. Okay. Zephaniah 1:11. How ye inhabitants of MacTest, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. Right? And that's what's coming. Gold and silver ain't gonna deliver you. Now it ain't, if you have it in possession, that don't mean you're wicked or anything of that nature. It's like I said, when hyperinflation first reveals itself, it may get you some things. All right. It may help you in the spirit. But once again, lawlessness and everything kicks off, it's over with. Right. I'm gonna jump down here to the 18th verse. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, just like it said in Ezekiel. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. And that's dealing with the nuclear destruction, right? Because all this anarchy, chaos, and everything that's getting ready to transpire out here is going to lead up to the nuclear missiles destroying this place, right? So let's go to this next article. Like I said, these ain't in no order, and I'm not gonna read through all of them. You know, we just going over some things concerning Bible prophecy. This one here, European Union labels Iran's Revolutionary Guard a terrorist organization. Okay, and we know where this is headed. This is the prophecy we are waiting on. That's going to set everything off by them going into Iran, right? And the reason Negro ain't went in there yet because he see that they ready, right? Their technology is not low level like it used to be, right? And that's biblical, right? Let the weak say that I am strong. They know that Russia's backing these guys, right? That's pursuant to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. All right, so let's read a little bit of this. Right, the whole world is in an uproar, and the whole world is getting ready to lock horns, man. All right, and we have the inside through the Spirit. Right, the Lord has given us the insight. You know, like I've been saying, man, it don't get no better than the vantage point that we have. We can see everything. The Lord has spiritually placed us in the proper position to where we can see him work and do what he do through the men that he set up before us, all right, to show us and to guide us. All right. You know, we in the perfect spot. Okay. EU foreign ministers have agreed to designate Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. The European Union's foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas made the announcement on Thursday following a meeting with foreign ministers. Okay, and that's the Edomites, man. If the Edomite ain't got no type of influence or control over your land, he gonna spin that narrative and make it seem like you're the bad guy. Okay, that's what he did with Gaddafi. That's what he did with Saddam Hussein. Right. That's what he's doing with Venezuelan Nicolas Maduro. Right. This is what this man does. This is his playbook. This is how he's been conquering the planet Earth since he's been in the power seat. He spins the narrative when he's the real terrorist of the planet. All right. Coming into people's lands, creating coups. A good documentary to watch is The Economic Hitman. All right, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Elder Barak put us on that years ago. Another one is The Panama Deception. Right? You get the idea of how this devil moves globally. All right. And he does it unjustly. He don't do nothing righteous, right? It says European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has called the EU decision appropriate and long overdue. See, really, these Europeans, they all together, these Edomites. It says Tehran has called the move a PR stunt by an actor in severe decline. And Iran ain't backing down. You know, everybody's in the spirit of war. And this is the Lord doing it. All right. It says reports, RT reports, Colossus announced the decision in a post X on X, calling the move decisive. Earlier on Thursday, the bloc's foreign minister also voted to sanction 15 individuals, mostly law enforcement officials, and 6 entities accused of human rights violations in Iran. You see how hypocritical these devils are, man? You know, you want to talk about human rights violations, come to America. You know, come to Babylon and look at the homelessness out here, right? You go any major downtown area in Babylon, you're going to see people laid out, sleep in the street. You know, this devil is very hypocritical, man. He want to bring so-called democracy and peace to these other lands when he don't even have that here in his own land. Right? It's about conquering and controlling with this devil. It says repression cannot go unanswered. Repression cannot go unanswered. These devils get on my fucking nerves, man. It says, Kyla stated, any regime that kills thousands of its own people is working towards its own demise. And that's exactly what Babylon the Great is doing in the West. Fuck out of here, man. You devils. They speak with a forked tongue, man. I ain't gonna read too much more. All right. Let's bring out some scriptures concerning this what's going on. We're gonna go to the book of Joel because Iran is the talk now. Right? And Nero 47, he told Iran that they rather surrender or suffer the consequence, or basically we're gonna invade you. Right? Let's get that here about the prophecy concerning Joel 2:20. It says, hold on, let me see something. Still with the missiles. Joel 2:20, it says, but I will remove far off from you the northern army and will drive him into a land barren and desolate. And we brought this out many times. Let me pull out the map. Because we always got new people watching, so you may not bring this map out. That's not it. Here we go. Let me put in so-called Middle East map. Yeah, this is better. This one here. You can view it right here. So let's go back to the scripture real quick. It says, Joel 2:20, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, which is the military of the U.S. All right. And will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the EC, right? So when you go to the map, it's talking about here, Saudi Arabia, with his face toward the EC, which is the Persian Gulf, meaning their face is towards where they're trying to go, which is Iran. All right. And this is why Iran is heavy in the news right now. And this is why Nero 47 is talking about going in Iran. And the reason they want to go into Iran is because there is no central bank in Iran. All right. They're not regulated by a central bank of those elite bankers. And this is why Venezuela was taken down. Right. Not only for the oil, all right, but because they weren't controlled by the central bank currency. They were using their own oil to make moves in the planet. And they were, they basically cut Esau out, cut out having to deal with the Federal Reserve note. And Esau wasn't having that, all right, because they still were thriving. They still were able to survive even with all the sanctions that was put on them, all right? And this is what Esau Edom don't like, right? And now they're focusing on Iran. Iran controls the world's right here. They control this area where I believe 70% of the world's oil moves through the Strait of Hormuz, right? And they control this. And that's another reason they want control of Iran, because they'll be able to control the Strait of Hormuz. They'll be able to control not only the oil that's coming from over in this region, but they'll be able to control how the world gets it. Okay. Iran is in control of closing this little gap right here to stop oil from reaching the rest of the world. All right. I believe it's 70%. Don't quote me on that. All right. But it's a high enough percentage that if they were to shut this down, it will cripple the world markets just like that. So they want control of Iran. This is why they declared them a TERR organization. Right? This is how they get down. First, they label you the boogeyman, and then they're going to make something happen to where we got to go do something about this boogeyman. Right? So let's go back to Joel, finish this out. He said, "But I will move far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea." The utmost sea, right? Let's go back. The utmost sea is talking about the Red Sea. Okay. This is where the Lord is going to stage these devils in their military, and they're going to, eventually go into Iran. And once they go into Iran, that's checkmate. That's checkmate. It ain't going to be like it was with Venezuela, where they just going to send a Delta Force in there and, capture, Iran's leaders, and then, have them displayed with a goddamn blindfold on, in a plane being brought to Babylon to be brought up on trial. It ain't gonna go like that, man. Right? It ain't gonna go how it went with Venezuela. Okay. And Nero 47 know that. Because if that was the case, they'd have been done it. Okay. They'd have been done it. So back in Joel 2:20, and his stink shall come up, and all his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. And that's when it's gonna get cracking over there. Right? The war. Right? And let's get Isaiah 34, I believe that is. Okay. Isaiah 34. Yep. Because this is going to kick off this Third World War when they physically try to get into Iran, boots on the ground type shit. Isaiah 34:1. Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua is upon all nations. And this is why we see this happen in the earth. The Lord is getting ready to bring his righteous anger down, right? And it's mainly because of the controversy of us, the controversy of Zion, right? He's doing this, having these nations prepare for war and get ready to kill each other for our sake, okay? It says, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, like we just read in Joel. It's going to be a holy war. All right. And then when you go to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, around about 38th verse, it goes into a little more depth of that Third World War that's going to kick off over there in the so-called Middle East, where the dragons of Arabian shall come out, the Carmanians raging, right? Those are the Iranians. Okay, that's Iran. All right, it's going to get real bad. Okay, and like I said earlier, we got the perfect vantage point, right here reporting on it through the spirit and letting them know it's going to happen before they even lock horns, right? So again, verse 3, their slain also should be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, because it's going to start out as a regular war, but then it's going to end nuclear. Okay? It's going to end nuclear. That's what's prophesied. It's going to end nuclear. Rolled together as a scroll, Isaiah saw the mushroom cloud. All right? He saw those mushroom clouds going off. And this is the best way he could describe it. And when you look at those mushroom clouds, when they detonate those different nuclear bombs, you see the fire constantly enfolding in itself, like rolling together some scrolls, right? So this is how Isaiah described it. It says, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree, right? Meaning their military, they're gonna all be cast down. Verse 5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which is the Greek way of saying Edom, and upon the people of my cursed true judgment. It's going to happen, and them signifying that they want to go in Iran is showing you that we close, all right, to this thing busting wide open. Verse 6, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys and rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Matter of fact, when you go, I believe that's Psalms 37. Let me see if I can pull up another tab. I believe it's Psalms 37. The enemies of the Lord shall go up in smoke. Let me see. I believe it's Psalms 37. Psalms 37 and 20. It says, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs, like we just read, or like we're reading in Isaiah the 34th chapter. Right? The fat of lambs is when we made a sacrifice unto the Lord, that was just consumed with fire to make a sweet savor unto the Lord, right? The fat of any animal, you burn the fat, and that's exactly what the Lord is getting ready to do with Babylon. It says they shall consume into smoke, shall they consume away. And that's the nuclear destruction. Okay? That's the nuclear destruction. So going back, Isaiah 34:6, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, right? And with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams, for the Lord had a sacrifice in Basra, right? Which is Edom, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, right? It says, and the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. So the Lord going to do this for us. All right? Read verse 9. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pits. Ain't gonna be no rivers, no streams, none of that. The Lord gonna dry all that shit up. And the dust thereof into brimstone here in America and the land of Israel, right? And the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation, it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. And that's going to be here in Babylon the Great. It's going to be set as that memorial of wickedness and what the Lord did and how he delivered the children of Israel. Right? So we here, baby. Right? They gonna go on, get ready to go up in there in Iran. Do what y'all got to do. Right? All right, next article. Police unleash military-grade voice of God sonic weapon to crush anti-ICE rioters. How many of you niggas got that? You know, you had that nigga Bird Song, I forget his first name. You know, talking about let ICE run up on him, he'll put a hole in him as big as a window. Nigga, they'll use this sonic weapon to where you can't even pull the trigger. You know? And this is the things heating up in the States. They got all these type of toys. And that's a small one that they got. That they done mounted on this Denali truck or GMC truck that they have here. Just to send frequency waves to get you up out of here. You know? Same type of technology they used when they ran up in Venezuela that had them people or them soldiers dropping and vomiting and bleeding out of their nose and mouth and shit, throwing up. Okay? So let's read a little bit of this. It said, during a heated anti-ICE demonstration in Minneapolis suburb, state troopers used a military-style sound device to direct intense targeted audio waves while calming several days of disturbances. So that's all they really got to do. People get out there by the thousands. All they got to do is set up a few of them and just send them radio waves at you and watch you motherfuckers scatter like roaches when the lights come on. All right. It says officers from the Minnesota State Patrol faced off with protesters near the Spring Hill Suite in Maple Grove, and I saw a video also too. They're starting to lock up journalists that record protests. You know, they having agents show up to these different journalists' home. It was a black woman, and they showed up with a I believe it was a warrant. She did a video saying she's about to be arrested because she recorded the protests concerning the church leader out there that was a part of ICE. All right, because she recorded and put it out there, they getting ready to locked her up. All right. You people gonna realize your constitutional rights have been taken, especially you of so-called Negro and Latino descent, right? Negroid, you know, indigenous descent. Because when they wrote that Constitution, you were considered 3/5 of a human. It really don't apply to you, right? You've been living under the illusion that the law caters to. Why you think they able to kill you and have been able to kill you in cold blood, and the motherfucker that's guilty of killing you, whether they cops, whether they dudes like George Zimmerman, why you think they don't go to jail? Because you really are just a slave. You've been served living under the illusion that you have rights, and you don't. And we're in a time to where they're showing you your rights don't mean shit. All right. That's why they're able to lock up a journalist, because she recorded a protest. Okay. We in a police state. Y'all ain't thing went up and told you. Okay. Again, it said officer from Minnesota State Police State Patrol faced off with protesters near the Spring Hill Suites in Maple Grove, suspecting that federal immigration officials were lodged there. When the group ignored multiple commands to leave, troopers alerted them about using a long-range acoustic device and started a countdown prior to its potential activation. The long-range acoustic device serves as a precise, high-direction speaker system first created for military purposes. Right? So we're when they bring out weapons like this, we're already in martial law. It's just a soft martial law, right? Apostle Gabar did the live, I believe it was yesterday. Going towards martial law, roughly paraphrasing the title. That's where we're headed, to a hard martial law, right? Right now it's just soft. That's why they're in Minneapolis, testing out these different weapons, right? They're logistically getting everything in place. While you over here, eyes on Minnesota, trust and believe you me, they getting everything set in all other major cities around Babylon for when they gonna go hard in the paint, right? It says experts warn that exposure to the device at close range can cause permanent hearing loss, ruptured eardrums, constant ringing in the ears, migraines, nausea, balance problems, and even panic responses. Remember the movie Leave the World Behind? And they sent out that noise, and the people start grabbing their ears and crouching down. This is the type of shit they gonna be doing out here, man. But you think you gonna be able to fight against this devil? That's why the Lord is gonna hide us, right? We in the secret place of Yahweh Shema Shai, right? And none of these plagues is gonna come nigh our dwellings, man. Okay. It says Marine Colonel Mark Kansian, a senior advisor for the Center for Strategic and International Studies, said, "We used it in Iraq. If you're in the cone, it sounds like the voice of God is speaking to you." Okay? And I ain't got to read no more. If you want to read and check it out for yourself, go ahead. All right? 2nd Ezra 15, man. All right? We seeing the gradual increase to a hard martial law. All right, they bringing out different weapons to where they ain't gonna have to do nothing but set these type things up, and they got bigger ones. That they be mounting on the back of trucks, and they can place them towards the crowd. You won't even see it coming. You'll hear it or you'll feel it. That's it. And it's gonna send reactions to your body that you ain't even gonna be able to control. That's why we say going out there and trying to get involved with the people, you'll be a fool. Okay? These things are supposed to happen. All right? And we're supposed to wait on Yahweh Shema Shai all right, to get up out of here, not the devil, not go to war with this devil. Okay, the Lord's given them this power. What's that? Romans the 13th chapter. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get that. Romans chapter 13, right? Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of the Most High, right? So you ain't gonna be able to take Esau down. The power that he has, as it states, the powers that be are ordained of God. The Most High got him there. What does the book of Daniel tell you? He set up over it the basis of men. The Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. So he got this devil in the power seat with the technology he has to bring judgment upon the people. Okay? Verse 2, whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. See? So you'll be a fool to go out there and call yourself bucking up against and trying to fight against what they're doing. You're going to receive damnation. All right? It says, for rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, which is what we're doing, right? And thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of the Most High to do, for he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, right? So niggas like that dude Birdsong and all these other, even ISUPK, talking about they, we against these immigrants. That ain't your fight. Our fight ain't to declare, talking about we against what. Hey, this administration is doing what the Heavenly Father want to do. Our fight is strictly to teach this word. That's what the Lord set us up to do. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no opinion on what we know it's wicked. But what you gonna do to stop it? You ain't gonna do a goddamn thing, man. Only one gonna stop this, man, is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Point blank, period. All right. This is why the scripture is saying this. Be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. All right. See, the Lord set this devil up, man. And he's gonna let this devil off the chain. He's gonna let this goddamn demon off the leash to just start biting motherfuckers, man. It says, wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. Point blank, period. Okay. So we etching towards that martial law to where it's going to be to the point of no return. And this last little article I wanted to bring some light to, going back to the live I did a couple of days ago with the jump shot, and how people are transmitters now, and what their ultimate goal is to delete the God gene. Right? When you look up the God gene, I believe the scientific term is the VMAT2 gene. All right. And this is why they want that technology in you. It says leaked WF footage exposes chemtrails and jump shots plot to delete the God gene. And we've been seeing chemtrails like crazy. Right before they had that snowstorm in the South and the East Coast, they were spraying like crazy. A couple of weeks ago, before we got all that goddamn rain out here on the West, They were spraying like crazy, right? Because they want us to ingest, breathe in, and have these different chemicals and heavy metals in our bloodstream that's gonna block, our communication with Yahweh Shema Shai, our spiritual antenna, which is the so-called God gene, right? But it's not possible for them to do that to the elect. Ain't nothing we can do about no goddamn chemtrails. Ain't nothing we can do about not breathing in the air, right? Ain't nothing we can do about it. This is why we gotta remain under the shadow of the Almighty, right? So that we can, this won't come nigh our dwelling. This is a plague, man. All right. It says, what if the real target was never your body or even your mind, but your soul? And that's what this devil wants control of. He wants control of your soul, right? And I'm just going to read just a little bit of this and then we'll give one more scripture and close it out. It says, leaked footage from the World Economic Forum in Davos has blown the lid off a conversation the elite were desperate to stop the public from ever hearing. An agenda they admit aims to delete the God gene and destroy our ability to experience spirituality. I remember when they first rolled out the jump shot, one of the brothers in the Great Millstone main camp in New York, he worked with an IUIC member. And when the IUIC member came to work, he told the brother that was part of Great Millstone that he took that jump shot, and he said he feel like he lost his faith. Okay, he said he feel like his faith is gone, something to that effect. All right. So it says to experience spirituality, exercise free will, and resist total compliance. Not by decree or crackdown, but by a silent campaign of chemtrails overhead and jump shots flowing through your bloodstream, right? And it won't be a bad idea to, get certain, herbs and natural binders, a part of your daily diet to help rid this from your body. We all got it in us. These different chemicals and, heavy metals that they spraying because we go outside and we breathe this shit. One good one is Shilajit. All right, Shilajit's a good one. A zeolite. All right, those are all great for binding foreign objects in your bloodstream and you getting rid of it from your body. And cleanses and things of that nature. That should be a part of your regimen here in Babylon, whether it's every couple months, like me myself personally, I do a cleanse every 3 months. I'm getting ready to go on one here very soon. All right. Every time the seasons change, I go on a cleanse, man. To rid, the body of all the bullshit that Esau Edom, was putting out there. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it says this isn't speculation. This is leaked footage, and it slipped out. Right. So, and we've all seen this. I was looking at the skies earlier this week. And they were doing it. I was like, hey, these goddamn. I'll be so mad. I get mad, but I wish I could fly up to that fucking plane and look that pilot directly in his eyes and sabotage that whole mission. Lord will in due time, we will have that ability, man. Okay. So that's pretty much, it. Like I said, you can go to People's Voice and you can, go into these articles on your own. But let's get last scripture I have. The book of Psalms 91. Right? Because ultimately our protection is coming from on high. And I've said this before. This devil got everything on lock, man. You know, he got it on lock. You know, we have to be in the secret place of the Almighty, all right, and abide under his shadow for the cover. Okay. Psalms 91 and 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In him will I trust. Right? Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Right? This truth that we're involved in, that's your shield and that's your buckler. Right? Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness. And that's another thing that's coming. These people out here are ticking time bombs. All right. I brought out before, when you look up this word, when you go into this right here, the people that took that jump shot, right? They are ticking time bombs, all right? The pestilence that walketh in darkness. Let me get that. I believe it's this word. And then the root word. Because it goes into an ambush. Let me see. It might be bear with me a second. No, it's another word. Let's go back. It got to be this word, darkness. The Hebrew word is apal. And then when you go to the root word, because I believe when you hit the root word, that's when you're going to get the word ambush. There it is. We ain't even got to hit the root word. The pestilence that walketh in darkness. The Hebrew word is apal, right? Especially thick, darkness, poetry word, metaphor of misery, misfortune, also of a place of ambush. All right. I mean, it's going to come all of a sudden. Okay. They can send out frequencies that's going to activate those lipid nanos in that jump shot. And people are going to just, you know, people could just start falling over and dying, bleeding out of their orifices. Matter of fact, there was a few scientists that brought that out, that's what's going to happen once they send out them posters. The scientist's name is, or actually he's a lawyer, but you had different scientists back him up. This is where he got the information. His name is Todd Callender, right? Todd Callender. If you look him up, he goes into once these lipid nanoparticles burst in the bloodstream, it's going to cause different type of sicknesses, so to speak, which is a pestilence, right? And it's going to hit like an ambush when people are least expecting. You can't see a frequency, okay? So going back, Psalms 91 and 3, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness. And us having the knowledge, when these things do happen, we gonna know, like, okay, through the spirit, you know, the Lord said these things will happen. You know, if we, you know, all of a sudden one day you turn on the news and there's a breaking news, people, a certain city have been quarantined. So many thousands of people have been confirmed unalived, and You know, they showing you camera footage of people laid out in the street with blood coming out of their different orifices of their body, nose, ears, uh, asshole. Watch the movie Cell, the beginning scene. All you gotta do is watch the beginning scene of the movie Cell, right? It says, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday, right? 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. As a matter of fact, I remember the brother named Salakia. I can't think of the brother's name, the elder's name right now. D-Mass, Salakia. Dimash Shapat out of Indiana, Great Millstone, Indianapolis. Right? He had a dream a few years back that he actually saw this people laid out on the ground. Him and his son, you know, they had to get up out of Dodge, man. You know, people just falling out, you know, gasping for air and through up there. So it's not far-fetched. Okay. And that's what's gonna bring real fear out here, man. When you actually see these type of things happen, that's gonna generate the fear that Esau needs to get you to take his micro C hip and see him as a savior. All right. It says again, verse 8, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. And this is what we're doing when we take part and we're you know, taking heed to the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We're taking heed to the warnings. All right. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. And ultimately, that's if the Lord, you know, well, not if, but when the Lord gives his elect, those who are allowed to receive that spiritual power, right? It says, because thou hast set, Shalaka, because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation. And that's it. All right. These are the things we got to look forward to. Right. Even though everything that's getting ready to come to fruition, right? The Lord is going to protect us in the process. All right. Because that's a part of the process. All right. That's a part of the process of us, you know, going through it, as we just read here in the book of Psalms 91. So, you know, that's pretty much it. I have through the Spirit, Lord will, you know, this was edifying and exhorting and informative to the hopeful elect. We'll give all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And we on to the next video. Hey, shalom, shalom. Keep the faith, stay prayed up. Shalom.